You sit down to try to study, even though you don't like studying, and nothing good comes out of it. Your grades don't go up. You hate life in general, it has no meaning. At school, you have some friends, but really, they're just retards that are disrespectful to you. At home, you don't have the support you wanted from your family. So, you run away. You escape with social media, with porn, with TV, with anime. You're escaping life because it's hard. And I know this because I was at your position. A few years ago, I was completely numb to life. I was depressed, anxious. I didn't feel like leaving the room I was in. I wanted to stay scrolling, watching porn, connected to the phone because it was my safe space. But the truth is, you don't need to live like this. And I'm telling you this because I got out of it. And I know it might be hard to believe, but I can get you out of here as well. I'll give you step by step how I got out of this rut, how I got out of depression and anxiety. This will change your life, and I'm so happy for you. So, I want you to think of your mental health as being composed by two main things. Okay? So, first of all, we have gratitude. And second, we have empowerment. So, gratitude is being grateful for what happens in your life. In general, I'm grateful for this computer. I'm grateful for this room. I'm grateful for this microphone. I'm grateful for nature. Basically, everything in life you can be grateful for, and also yourself. And this is really powerful. Being grateful for your past self, for the actions he took and the results it gave you. This is tied to empowerment. Empowerment is your belief, your capacity of actually changing your life, of having power over your future. And having this belief is essential to having good mental health. And I know you might not have it. So we need to build both gratitude and empowerment to achieve good mental health. And to build them, I want to use the analogy of a tree. So we have 3 steps to building a strong mental health. The first of all, we have the foundation, which is basically the roots of the tree. Then we'll have the core. And finally, the multiplier. So fixing your mental health is a 3-step process. And let's start with the foundation. Let's say you have a friend that starts playing the piano. And then he comes to you and he says, "Hey bro, I'm learning to play the piano." Do you expect him to be able to play Beethoven, Mozart? No, right? He's just starting out. So, do you expect yourself that is just starting out in this journey to improve your mental health to be able to do all the good habits at once and stop all the bad habits? Of course not. You can't expect yourself 1 week from now to be the happiest you've ever been by doing all the good habits and doing none of the bad habits, because you're a beginner. And we need to progress. But first, we need to build a strong foundation. Your friend that's learning the piano, first, he needs to know the name of the notes. needs to know the theory behind it before he can go and actually learn the music. The same thing here. So what is the foundation for mental health? The foundation is tied to the two big concepts of gratitude and empowerment. And the main concept that is essential for the foundation is progression. It's movement. And how do you do this? Basically, we want to set a goal. Okay? So basically in your life, right, you have three main areas. First of all, you have health. Health is basically, your mental health, of course, but also physical health. So your cardio, your muscles, your diet, your sleep, your stress, your hormones, everything is included in health. You also have wealth. So this is either business and making money, but also studying, building your career, everything that is related to actually earning money. And finally, you might have guessed it, we have relationships. This is your relationship with your family, with your friends, with a girlfriend, with a teacher. These are the relationships in your life that actually mean something to you. So you have these three big areas, and I want you to choose one of them, either health, wealth, or relationships. Okay? And I want you to set a goal in them. But first, we need to narrow down a little bit more. Okay? So let's say you chose health, right? Which is what I would recommend for most of you. Inside of health, you have many things. As I said, you can have, muscle. You want to get bigger. You have fat, right? You want to get leaner. You have cardio. You want to get better cardio. You have hormones, so you want to improve your hormones, get more testosterone and stuff like this. So you see there are many sub areas of health, and you need to only choose one of them. You can't do all of them at once, right? It's like a friend that's learning the piano. He comes at you and says, "Oh, I'm also learning the guitar and the bass and the drums and the saxophone." You'd be like, "What the fuck? Just choose one and do one," okay? So let's choose one of the sub parts of health. For example, muscle. And I want you to set a goal for muscle. So a goal that makes you uncomfortable. Something that you don't think you can achieve. And this is really important, okay? So maybe, let's say you are at 60 kilos. You set a goal to be at 90 kilos. Lean, right? There doesn't need to be, a time to achieve the goal. Just set it like this. Let's say your goal is wealth. So let's say you're a student. It might be to have a very good average. It really depends on the educational system you are. But I was in the French educational system, so the averages were out of 20, and my goal was to have an above 18 average, which is pretty hard in the last years of high school, and I actually achieved it. If you are on wealth, it can be, if you're on business, you want to make a certain amount of money monthly. And you need to set unrealistic goals. At this point, when I set the 18 plus, I was at like 16. I think I did it wrong, and I would have actually put it to 19 out of 20. So it needs to be something really unrealistic, something that makes you uncomfortable, but that is still, it's kind of possible. It's not something that will never happen. And if it's relationships, I think this is the hardest one, but it might be like, get a girlfriend, improve your relationships with your family and stuff like this. So choose a sub area of one of these big areas and set an unrealistic goal. Once you have set your goal, we want to do mini check-ins, and this is what's important. So mini check-ins and habits. Okay. So I'm going to pick one of these, for example, but this works basically for all of them. Let's say you have picked muscle. Okay, we want to build muscle. The mini check-ins would be, okay, so I want to get 60 kilos and I want to get to 90 kilos. Oh, fuck, it looks like 96. Okay, 90 kilos. That means that first I need to go from 60 to maybe, 65. Then I do 65 to 70. Because basically, to gain muscle, you need to do something that's called bulking. So this is when you are eating more calories than you're consuming to actually be able to put on muscle. So maybe you do a bulk from 60 to 65 kilos. Then you do a little cut to lose some fat. Then you go back and you bulk from maybe 64. You lost 1 kilo of fat. You go from 64 to 70. Then you do another cut, and so you want to be making these mini check-ins. Okay, so I'm going to bulk from 60 kilos to 65. It's 5 kilos. I want to gain about 0.5 a week. So that means roughly 2 kilos a month. So it will take me 2.5 months, roughly. So your mini check-in, your mini goal would be in 2.5 months, I want to be at 65 kilos. And then you have that, but you also have this weekly goal and this monthly goal. So you'll be tracking all of these goals. And how do you achieve these goals? By doing the habits. And you'll also be tracking the habits. So what could be the habits for building muscle? Going to the gym. Eating high protein, eating a lot of calories, sleeping well. And basically you have all of these habits that will be conducive to growing muscle. And what you need to do is actually track the habits that you're doing. So you set out, a habit tracker for the week. Okay, so this week I want to go to the gym 4 times. I want to eat 150 grams of protein a day. I want to eat 2,500 calories a day. And then you check them throughout the week. And by actually doing the habits, you start to feel empowerment. And then when you actually achieve these mini goals, dude, that's awesome. Because you actually start to see you have power over these things. And slowly you'll get to the first mini goal you had set of 65 kilos. And wow, right? In like 3 months, you've actually taken control of your life. Now you know you actually can do it. And this works for any of these areas you choose. Set a big goal, break it down into easier things. Let me give you another example. So let's say the average, okay? Let's take me. I had a 16 average and I wanted to get to a 19 average. A mini goal would be to go from 16 to 17. Okay. What are the habits to actually achieve this? Okay, so I want to be more productive, right? I want the hours that I used to study to be worth more. So maybe I'll get into fasting, right? Because when you fast, you are more productive. Your brain works better. Maybe I'd get into a specific diet, which is called the keto diet, right? So fasting basically is when you don't eat for a specific time. So I fast in the mornings. Basically, I ate, the last time I ate was yesterday, and now I'll only eat at around 11, 12 a.m. And the keto diet is a diet that's very low on carbs. So basically, there are 3 food groups. So fats, carbs, and proteins. The carbs are like the rice, the potatoes, the sugars, the fruits. And the keto diet is very low on carbs. I'm not actually sure how much. I think it's like less than 40 grams of carbs a day. And this actually works for better mental performance. Okay, so these are 2 habits I want to do. For productivity. But then, let's say you want to find a better way to study. So you start having, okay, so every weekend I want to study 2 hours of fast exams. I want to sleep better for my brain to function better. And here you have a list of habits you can actually introduce in your life to move forward with your goal. Now, remember, this is the foundation. We are not expecting you to be doing all of these habits like starting from tomorrow you start doing everything. Okay? What you want to do is to take one of the habits, maybe a few of the habits, and start small. So let's go back to our building muscle example. If you're starting out in the gym, you can go 2 to 3 times a week, and you will build muscle. You don't need to obsess over protein. You can just try to eat a little bit more. For calories, just eat a little bit more. Since you are starting out, you just need to do the basics that it will work. In the gym, there's something called noob gains. Basically, when you're just starting out, this is when you make the most of your gains without really worrying about them. So if you're just starting out, doesn't matter if it's in studying, in muscle, anything, just pick the habits that will move you forward and just show up. Don't obsess over them. Go to the gym 2, 3 times a week. Eat a little bit more protein, eat a little bit more calories, and you will grow muscle. You will bulk. You will achieve your goal. For studying, you don't need to do fasting or keto. Just from studying a little bit more fast exams, sleeping a little bit better, eating a little bit less carbs, this will already increase your mental performance and your quality of studying, which will in turn get you better results. And this really works for anything. So let's say you want to grow the wealth part, you want to grow a business, and you don't have a business yet. Let's say you want to get into YouTube, the same thing I'm doing. You don't need to put out a banger video as your first video. You just need to post. That's the first step, just post videos. It took me 3 years to start posting. Just post something, get it out. And this will be progress. You'll be progressing, you'll be walking towards the goal. And then maybe one of your videos pops off. You get 100, 500, 1,000 views. And then you're much closer to your goal than you were before. And you actually feel empowered. You see that your actions that you take now can have results in yourself later. And this is the empowerment box checked off. But this is also the happiness box. You know why? Because let's say you started posting, okay? You posted for a few weeks, and then one of your video pops off. You, from later on, will be so proud and happy with your old self. You'll be grateful that you started posting. And the same thing is with the you that gets to 65 kilograms. You'll be like, wow, I'm so glad that I started. Or the you that actually has the better average, so you went from 16 to 17, you'll be like, wow, I'm grateful for all the time I spent studying, for the better sleep I have now. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for my younger self. And this is really powerful because you'll be proud and you'll like yourself more. And this is really essential for better mental health. So for the foundation, pick an unrealistic goal, breaking down into smaller, more manageable chunks. Set out the habits you need to do to achieve this goal and start working on them. Start small, because we're still in the foundation, remember? So we're still here. You don't need to be, going to the gym 6 times a week, doing the most optimized routine, eating 153 grams instead of 145 grams of protein. You just need to start going to the gym and start building the habit to start building empowerment and gratitude. By the way, bro, this is just a condensed version of the full mental health course I have made, and it's available in the description. I'm genuinely so proud of this course, and if this video helps you, I really do think you'll get something from this course. So if you trust me enough and you're ready, I'll see you inside. Once you've been doing this for a few weeks, and you actually start seeing the results, and you start feeling better, we can go to the core. And the core, we're basically strengthening we're building from the foundation to basically slingshot us further in our mental health journey. So now you've shown up, and now it's time to start optimizing to basically multiply your results. Let's say for your muscle, you've been showing up, you've been making some gains. Now is the time to say, okay, let me start improving in this instead of just showing up. For the studying, now it's time that you actually research what the science says about the best ways to study. If your desire was to improve your sleep, instead of just sleeping earlier or sleeping in a more consistent time, you start researching the most autistic and specific ways to improve your sleep. And now you'll basically multiply your results. And what you can do in this core part is actually start another goal. So you've been building some muscle, but maybe you want to improve your cardio as well. And you start showing up. You start running twice a week for 30 minutes, 15 minutes. And then you start progressing in another area of your life. And all of these progressions, they add up. And like the snowball effect, the more you do them, the better you'll feel, the more empowered you'll feel, the more grateful you'll feel. And here in the core is when we add one key habit. Like you can actually add in the foundation if you want. And this is really important. And the habit, the habit is gratitude journaling. This is so powerful. What we're doing with gratitude journaling is that we're forcing gratitude thoughts in our brain. So normally our brains don't think grateful thoughts, right? Generally, your brain bullies you. It's like having an enemy inside your head all the time. But by doing this, we are forcing our brains to be grateful. And with time, as much as you do this, you start to feel grateful overall. Your brain will generate grateful thoughts for you. You'll be walking around, you'll see a tree, and you'll be like, oh, I'm grateful for nature. Something good will happen, and you'll start to be grateful. So not only will you be grateful for younger you'll be grateful for life in general. And here, if you start doing this, you start having a bunch of little goals that you're working towards. You start to be empowered, to be grateful for yourself and for life. Your mental health has already changed so much. And really the core is just to keep doing the foundation, but do it better, do it more, and be grateful for your entire life. And then the multiplier is actually just doing more and more to actually live a more complete life. So let's go back to the muscle and cardio example. Here, you're improving your muscle and your cardio. You can actually improve your sleep as well. And if you improve your sleep, right, this is the crazy thing, okay? Better sleep will have better hormones, better muscle growth, better cardio. You'll have less fat and more muscle. So improving one will improve all of the others. And you can imagine the results this will give you. Because improving sleep not only will improve your health, it will improve your wealth with your studying. It will improve basically how well you feel, and it will improve your relationships. Improving your muscles will get you a better chance of having a girlfriend. So these start to be connected, and they start each one to build the other. And this will multiply your results. This is why I call it the multiplier. Basically, everything you've built starts getting almost into an automated machine, because as you work in one goal, you actually are working in a bunch of other goals. And this, when you get to this point, you will be so happy, so grateful, so proud of yourself. And this is really powerful, because by doing this, you are protecting yourself from falling back into a rut. Because if you do fall back, and you see that you're lacking in some of these habits, because I did so basically, when I had to move out, I did fall into a rut, and my sleep was fucked up. Okay, I wasn't sleeping well, I wasn't doing cardio, and I was skipping the gym. So basically, there was no gratitude for my younger self. I wasn't gratitude journaling as well, so no gratitude for life, nor for my younger self, because I was at this point and I fell to this point. And this fucked up my hormones, this fucked up my studying, this fucked up my relationship, and everything started to fall down. And you know what I did? But what do you think I did to get out of the rut? The same thing I did to get out of depression in the first place. I started building on these habits. I got back into the gym, which made me get better sleep because I wanted to get the gains, which made me improve my hormones, improve my studying, which made me prouder of myself, and made me more likely to start improving other areas of life. So this system I just gave you of improving your mental health is so powerful. Like, with this, you can not only cure your depression and your anxiety, but also prevent yourself from falling into a rut again. Like, this is extremely, extremely powerful. And I wish I had this when I was depressed. I wish I had this when I fell into the rut a few years ago. This is genuinely so powerful. And then, like, you can have a bunch of habits that you want to do. Like, you can meditate, you can do breath work, you can do journaling, but the core idea isn't the habits in themselves. It's the progression, right? It's the empowerment, it's the gratitude you will feel for yourself. So I really hope this full guide has helped you. My name is Lucas, and I help men improve their mental health through science, psychology, and philosophy. So if that interests you, you can scroll down and click the subscribe button, and it's a win-win for both of us.